We've all had those years where the big games, the AAA blockbusters and the massive sequels just feel a bit heavy, like eating the same fast food over and over again. But 2025 was different for me. Instead of chasing the hype, I went looking for the games that felt like a breath of fresh air. The ones that value your time, take creative risks, and honestly, the ones that just felt good to play. I'm Tanuki Zoot, and here are 15 games from 2025 that you absolutely shouldn't miss. I spent the last year digging through Steam Next Fest demos, following solo devs, and taking chances on genres I used to ignore. What I found was a collection of 15 games that range from high-speed precision to total brain-off relaxation. Whether you're looking for a pixel art fishing trip or a post-apocalyptic round of golf, these are the titles that define my year. Shelldiver. This game reminds me of the fun that I was starting to have in Dave the Diver before too many different game mechanics started to introduce themselves and weigh the game down. Shelldiver focuses on the fun in the gameplay loop and allows the process of selling and upgrading to be the downtime activity. It seems like a masterclass in finding the fun mechanic and then iterating on ways to make it more interesting and efficient. The upgrade tree is a bit crazy at first, but it was fun to see its effects as the game went on. It's a fun game that doesn't overstay its welcome and is a breath of fresh air. Plus, it's pixely and cute. Highly recommended, and looking at the Steam review history, I'm not the only one who thinks that. Art of Rally. Fun Selector Labs have really done a great job focusing on four-wheel fun. In Art of Rally, they've focused on providing a beautiful, minimalist, but still challenging game that is more than partially informed by the real history of rally racing. Whether you want to drive a little British Mini, a French hot hatch, a Japanese mid-engine, a German all-wheel drive grip machine, or a crazy supercar, as long as you spend time learning the fundamentals of racing and put in your time behind the wheel, it's all available to you. Whether it be slow progression in career mode or open-ended exploration in free roam, there's some options on how to interact with the different stages that are set in different countries, each with a vibe and an art style that are unique. It's no walk in the park, but give it some effort and you'll be rewarded. Day of Drift. If you are looking for what would happen if you combined the focus on drift and execution of Absolute Drift, but then combined it with the vibes and aesthetic of old school car games like RC Pro-Am, you might end up with a game like Day of Drift. Day of Drift is laser focused on drifting mechanics, mostly through two different styles of challenges. Some stages are set up for you to have the maximum number of drift points before the end of the stage in a given time limit, with medals given for beating specific scores. The other is a time attack mode, where you need to get to the finish by any means necessary, and mistakes cost you time. If the gold medal challenges aren't tough enough, compare your scores to others online. Want to change the look and feel of your car? It's not hidden behind microtransactions or achievements. It's in the options menu from the start. And the only thing stopping you from a faster car is the ability to control it. It's a fun game, but don't expect a walk in the park, and you're going to need to learn to earn those scores. Peak. The game industry sucks at naming genres, especially new ones. The term friend slop is now popular enough to have its own wiki page, including a reference to this game, Peak. Yes, this game is better with friends. Yes, there's a fair bit of whimsy to this game and it doesn't take itself too seriously. However, the game is inventive, and it takes some risks that bigger games are not willing to take. If you want to make it to the peak of the mountain, you're going to have to take the game mechanics seriously, and even if you do, fate may not be on your side on that run. It's a good game made great with friends, and there's very little slop involved. The art aesthetic is good enough to communicate the sense of scale, beauty, and accomplishment without requiring a team of artists to toil away for too long or require a download to fill your SSD. It's the right size for fun. Hypogea. This game is among the better narrative experiences that are available in video games today. I feel like if this game came out at the same time as Shadow of the Colossus, we'd still be reverently calling out its name. It can be hard to find games with something to say that don't include violence and can be completed in a day nowadays. I nominated this game for the Outstanding Story-Rich Game Award in the Steam Awards. but I'd like to mention that it is in the vein of games like Grease, where there is no dialogue and limited visual information combined with artistic expression are some of the main methods that the story is being communicated. Do yourself a favor and check it out. Cast and chill. When I was growing up as a young kid in the Midwest, in the late Stone Ages before the millennium, one of the things that I could do was fish. Either alone or on the banks of a river, or with my family like my grandma or uncles on a boat in the middle of a small lake. Thinking about fishing has both good memories as well as just powerful feelings of fun and peace. A game like Cast and Chill is a really unique kind of treasure. It brings back memories of old fishing trips, along with beautiful pixel art, without having to deal with the reality of putting fishing hooks through worms or filleting actual fish. The game is both an active mode and an idle mode, so if you want to work towards that trophy catch, go ahead. But if you just want to see your dude catch fish while you get other work done, that's also an option. As a bonus, this game has recently introduced a co-op mode, so if you want to go head out on the water together with a friend, like me, just let me know. Kaya's Prophecy. I played a fair amount of solitaire as a kid, having grown up in the Stone Ages. None of my card games involved the cards being alive, though. However, we live in the future now, so that's possible. This is a living card game that has two main event loops. One of the loops is a city builder, where you use and combine cards in order to make a bigger and more complex village to appease the deity that looks over your village. You don't want to leave him hungry. Also, there's a card battler with some branching paths of exploration in the vein of FTL. I appreciate the initial simplicity of the mechanics and the ability to make the game more complex by adding more recipes and working with the increasing complexity of your village. It's a novel mix of game styles that's worth looking into. Golf Club Nostalgia. There's quite a few little golf games out there, but this one has a few tricks up its sleeve. First of all, your golfer has a jetpack to golf in hard-to-reach places. Also, the golf course is a post-apocalyptic Earth that Martian tech elites use from time to time when they are bored. You're not one of the elites, though. You're just the driver that ferries these techno-psychopaths to and from their leisure activities. And while you're there, you get to play around. While doing so, you listen to Radio Free Mars Nostalgia, which is the radio station for the folks on Mars that miss Earth and share memories and music from their former lives. It's a philosophical journey, and the play mechanics give you time to absorb the story as it rolls along. Mars First Logistics. This game is a bit open-ended. You can just go around and explore, or you can take up the challenge of delivering items to help build Mars from a barren red planet to a habitable oasis. There's a lot of ways to get it done, and if you're looking for a creative way to do it, this is going to encourage your Lego building engineer tendencies. It can make you feel like a genius or an idiot, depending on how well your constructed vehicles work for the task of moving a variety of items over some pretty rough terrain. The deliveries can be chill or difficult, depending on the job. It's a choose-your-own adventure. Help build a new world by building clever delivery robots as the operator. The hours can fly by while you find solutions to the different challenges. Have a podcast handy in case you want to make a long haul. Islands and Trains. I've never been a big model train person, but when I played the demo at Steam Next Fest, I was struck by how calming the making of a train set can be, and I started to understand why some folks spend a lot of their free time lovingly crafting train sets, especially around the holidays. I get a feeling that is very similar to Townscaper, but I have the added bonus of being able to conduct a train when I'm done putting together this idyllic little town I've made. I still don't want to have a room full of trains in my actual house, but I'm really happy to have access to a virtual train builder hiding in my Steam library. The tutorial is pretty easy to understand, so going from completely confused to having fun creating doesn't really take much time at all. You're limited mostly by your imagination here. Bang Average Football. Bang Average Football refers to European football. I think this game was inspired by old console games like Sensible Soccer, but with an added story mode that may or may not include aliens. It's got solid gameplay and a fun story mode. I found the demo during Steam Next Fest and played it so much that I felt guilty so that I bought the game as the only real honest thing to do, and I've put in a bunch of hours since then. I personally find this game to be better than average, and the game match length is a perfect bite size. The default soccer formations are good enough to just play, but there's a ton of depth if you want to mess with formations or trying out different players out of position. Snow, ultimate free riding. Snow is another Next Fest demo that I played so much that buying the game seemed like the respectful next step. The simplicity is the beauty in this game. You're free riding down a hill, and you get to make it down however you want. You can do a score attack and try to be daring and pull a lot of tricks, or you can go into Zen mode and turn the score counter off completely, or challenge each other in the peak of the week. The graphic fidelity is good enough to get you in the flow state, and the procedurally generated mountains in different types of day and weather conditions provide enough difference so that it doesn't feel like you're heading down the same mountain every time. It's easy to learn and hard to master, which seems like the hallmark of a game that was made with awareness of its constraints, but without removing the fun. Ball Pit. Apparently the X is silent in Ball Pit, but I was very surprised that one of the year's breakout games was literally inspired by Breakout, which has been around since Steve Wozniak helped program it for Nolan Bushnell in the mid-70s. I haven't really seen innovation in the genre since Wizorb, and that came out in 2011, so I shudder to think that it's also a retro game now. Kenny's son and friends have decided to bring roguelike mechanics, farming, and multiple characters to a genre that was absolutely begging for some innovation. It's a bullet heaven and a bullet hell, so it can be a bit crazy sometimes, but the overworld portions allow you to have some downtime between runs if things are getting a bit too intense. I haven't fully explored all the farming and upgrade mechanics yet, and I've only unlocked a few characters, but it certainly offers more depth than the original arcade game that spawned the genre. I can't wait to see what other dead or dusty genres that can get the Ball Pit treatment. Spilled. Spilled provides a small, wholesome respite to the outside world as a whole. In this game, you can clean up the waterways of the whole world in an hour, and 10 cents from every sale of the game on Steam are donated to the WDC, which is a UK charity for whale and dolphin conservation. In essence, your puttering around and cleaning up the world is actually helping clean up the world a little bit. That's kind of fun. Lenti developed this boat game while on a houseboat, so there's also some neat boatception stuff happening here. It's cozy, wholesome, and the art is very appealing. It's a great play for an overwhelmed brain. Easy Delivery Co. Originally, I thought that this game was going to be some sort of psychological jump scare horror game like Silent Hill, given the PS1 style graphics and fog, but I was delighted to find out that despite the game having the initial looks of a horror game, it's actually a cozy delivery game that isn't too punishing and allows you to make your own fun. As a cat delivery driver, you deliver items from place to place in a series of connected mountain towns. There is an accompanying storyline, but if you just want to zone out and deliver some bags from one town to another without thinking too deeply, this game is here for that too. Getting through the story mode takes about 4.5 hours, and you can stretch that out longer if you're not too worried about upgrades and plot points. Kudos to Sam C for developing a game with a tight scope, but a very appealing gameplay loop, as well as some retro CRT innovation in the menu screens that are actually a nod to their previously created games. There's no such thing as the perfect game for everyone, but it's really useful to keep your mind open to new experiences. Games are a bit like cooking or food that way. You can go through your whole life eating bologna sandwiches or plain grilled cheese, but if you venture out, you might find that you have a love of hot pot, Turkish food, or German-style döner kebab. It doesn't make eating a grilled cheese wrong, and you shouldn't force other people to eat what you want, but if you remain receptive to the new and the different, there may be a world of mystery and discovery open to you. Try a new thing. Download a cool demo. Look into playtesting. Find out what works for you. And then game on.